KT7 up here. This video was made a week ago. During the downtime, I included a match against Hero King Mont at the end. Now back to the video. Today I am showcasing Vinera Hourne, the last piece of the next-gen evasion team. Vinera is a 100 cost lightning unit in the dagger group. Her sub-jobs are dual gunner and great knight. Opposite of Rikku, Vinera specializes in AoE attacks. She also has status effects in her main kit. The two together is very difficult to deal with and can catch a lot of people off guard if they don't have top-tier accuracy. Let's see what her kit has to offer. Let's kick things off with her stats. They are very similar to Rikku's across the board. Vinera is a bit faster with 78 agility and has higher dex at 260. Her luck stat is identical to Rikku's at 203. The two are neck and neck in terms of evasion. Moving on to her new dagger. The general ability is slash attack 15. For all lightning and dark units, they also get slash penetration 20 and evasion rate plus 10 against unit attacks. Vinera is a crit attacker, be sure to give her the crit type. The assassin's dagger has hate down attached to it, which makes it very difficult to manage your initial buff orders. Stay away from it. Next, her TMR. It is an accessory. The stats are HP 196, Defense 5, Evade 5, and Crit Evade 5. The ability is a self-buff, grants the user 10% luck and reaction block rate up 50 for 4 turns. 10% luck increase is about 20 for Vinera, it is very nice. But does not have any agility, it is not something I would consider for her. Next is her resistances. She has 20 to slash, 10 to missile, and 20 to magic. Negative 10 to pierce, and minus 15 to strike. The minus 15 to strike makes it really scary against Winter Perrene. I highly recommend to give her 97 faith to maximize the chance to land stun. But be sure to give her the relevant ailment resistances. Moving over to her commander effects and ability. Her commander effects are for guild battle. Give lightning units lightning attack up 10 and accuracy 15. For spear, fist, dagger, ninja blade and glove units, they all get AoE resistance 10 and crit damage 15. These effects stack. A lightning spear unit like Ramada, she will benefit from both effects. Her commander abilities support the same 5 weapon groups. Gives these units attack up 40%, magic up 40%, and elemental chain resistance 40 for the first 5 turns of the battle. 40% buff is quite significant. Her commander effects will benefit units such as Winter Perrene and Gilgamesh from FF5. Next, her master ability. Grants her 10 evade and AP consumption down 25%. Her 140 upgrades are reaction block rate 30, AoE resistance 15, and upgrade to her job 12 attack. Give it one more use, and lower target's type chain resistance 50 for 2 turns post damage. This attack having one more use is really good, as fights could be longer against teams with a bulky tank such as Agrias. Now let's go over her main support abilities. Support number 1 gives her a one-time force barrier against all attacks from range 3 to 6. All wide guard 15, slash penetration 40, and 12 evade. Number 2 gives her attack 24% and AP consumption down 25. Support number 1 has to be on her at all times. The force barrier and wide guard make it really difficult to take her out with 2 attacks. Her main reaction is a preemptive counter against slash and magic type attacks with a 70% chance to go off. It is the exact same as Rikku's reaction. Moving over to her LB. It is a 2x2 cross-shaped AoE attack with range up to 5, range height 1 and area height 1. Before damage dispel protect from targets and lower their crit damage resistance by 20 for 3 turns. Then deals 3 hit extra large damage. This LB is great to start a slash chain. Next, her buffing abilities. Her cross-shaped group buff has a range up to 2. Grants the group all wide guard 25 for 4 turns. For herself, she gets re-raise, dispel haste on hit, and increase her chance to land stun when she has re-raise or active wide guard. This buff having 2 range is really good. Makes it possible for Rikku to move horizontally and give Vinera the evasion buff on turn 1. Next, her self buff. Grants her 40% HP auto heal back when her health drops below 50% once per battle. Plus 20% evasion rate against unit attacks for 4 turns. Nullify sure hits for 4 turns. And an additional reaction ability that increases her physical damage output by 20% after dodging an attack. Her null sure hit is unconditional unlike Rikku's. Rikku is more evasive against AoE attacks, whereas Vinera is more evasive against unit attacks. Alright, moving on to her main job attacks. Number 1 on the list is a cross-shaped AoE with range up to 4, range height and area height are both 1. Before damage lower target's defense and AoE resistance by 60% for 3 turns. Then deals 2 hit large damage and lower their CT small. Plus it has 25% chance to inflict 1 turn stun. Post damage lower target's type chain resistance by 50 for 2 turns. If Vinera has her buff active, the stun chance would be at 40%. The type chain resistance down is really nice to set up her teammates to continue chaining. Attack number 2 is a unit attack with range 2 and range height 1. Deals large damage, has a 50% chance to inflict 3 turn poison and 25% chance to inflict doom. Also lower target's movement by 1 when poison or doom is active. With Dark Odin, the poison chance is 75%. Attack number 3 is her low AP ability. Range of 2 and range height 1. Deals small damage and increased self CT small. Attack number 4 is a X-shaped AoE with range up to 4, range height and area height 1. Before damage breaks physical barriers, deals large damage and 25% chance to stun the enemies for 1 turn. Rikku does not have barrier break attacks. This is a much needed ability for the duo. This is also Vinera's second stun attack. Be sure to give her 97 faith. That's all for her main job abilities, moving over to her subs. First up, her main sub. Ability 1 is an AP damage plus status attack. It has range up to 4, range height 1 and area height 1. Deals 15 AP damage and 25% chance to inflict paralysis. This is useful when she has 0 accuracy. Ability 2 is a unit attack with range 2 and range height 1. Before damage increase Vinera's damage cap by 4000, then deals large critical damage. This attack is great for PvE. For PvP I like her other subs better. Next, her Dual Gunner sub. The support abilities are Tune Up and Dual Gunner Mastery. Tune Up is the support I recommend. Gives Vinera 12% agility and 40 defense penetration, so good. The reaction is Predictive Fire, not so good. The 2 notable abilities from Dual Gunners are Quadruple Shot and Smokescreen. Quadruple Shot is a 4-hit attack with plus 30 hit rate. Could help land some hits from the side in mirror matches. Smokescreen is the only evasion buff she has from her whole kit. I would not turn off any of her main job buff for it. Rikku can buff her evasion. But it is nice to have when she is not paired with Rikku. It has lower priority than both main buffs. It's okay to leave it on. Her other sub job is Great Knight. The support abilities are Great Knight Lore and Unwavering Spirit. Great Knight Lore gives her 24% attack and 40 defense penetration. Should you need Vinera to be slower, this is the support to equip. The reaction ability is Endure. It is not useful, just stick to her main reaction. The notable abilities are Silencing Sweep for silence chance. And Instill Endurance should you want her to have a physical barrier. I typically switch around Dual Gunner and Great Knight depending on the map. That's it for her kit, moving to her VC. Her card should arrive 1 week after her. This is the VC that Rikku has been waiting for. It supports Spear, Bow, Dagger, Ninja Blade, and Mace. The stats are HP 352, Dex 42, and Attack 161. The party abilities are Luck 42%, AoE Resistance 16, and Reaction Block Rate 40. The bestowed effects are Attack 10% and Agility 5%. Hollow Party ability is for dual content, gives the team 12 magic resistance. VC Mastery are Evasion 2 and Initial AP 2, also for dual content. If you have Rikku or going for Vinera, you absolutely need this VC. Without it, they are losing out on 25% luck. This is such an important VC for the Evade girls. Next is Winter Perrene's VC. This is already available on Global. This card allows the Evade team to have unit resistance, AoE resistance, agility, and luck all in the main slot. This is a huge improvement compared to the Evade teams of previous generation. I usually give this to Vinera for the 18 AoE penetration from the bestow, as she does not have any from her kit. The Magic Wide Guard is nice to have as well. Also, Rikku can use the Vision ability. I do recommend this card for the Evade team, but don't think is a must-have. It fills the lack of unit resistance hole, but but Zidane's VC can do that for them as well. The magic wide guard is a factor against unit like young Sidali. The AoE penetration for Vinera, you cannot find anywhere else. Moving on to Vinera's equipments, Espers, and Truststones. Her new dagger is the best in-slot weapon. The Feather Baselard is also good for additional 15% agility. Combine that with haste, she can easily double turn many units. In the second slot, the Winter Coat is best. In the TMR slot, boost her agility, evade or give her some accuracy. Her best Esper is Dark Odin, great for evasion, and it could increase her poison chance by 25 if you have nodes unlocked. Dark Ifrit is also a top choice, but give it to Rikku. For her Trust Stones. Luck set on the left, agility on the right. The abilities here are for the equipments below. Again, the Assassin's Dagger has hate down attached to it. It will mess with targeting of buffs. I don't recommend it unless there is a certain movement pattern you want to set up. Moving on to sample teams. The first team I am showing off is the updated Dagger and Ninja team with Rikku and Lucielle. Now that we have all the VCs necessary, the next gen evade team is complete. Vinera has Winter Perrene's VC in the main slot to give the team 24 unit resistance, crit damage 25, and very importantly the bestowed 18 AoE penetration. Rikku is holding her own card in the main and the sub-luck card that also boosts her earth attack. On Lucielle, she has Vinera's VC to give us the 42% luck and 16 AoE resistance. The 5% agility from bestowed is really great for her as she only gets 8% agility from other VCs. There are a few alternate VCs you can put on Vinera's main slot. Notably, Zidane's card can also give the team unit resistance and 20 crit rate. Sildra for slash pen, and the Dragon's Talons card for some accuracy and attack. Vinera's evasion rate is around 400 at max reincarnations, which is comparable to Rikku's. Her penetrations are only at around 50, but she does have access to damage output increase effect. She can have around 30 unit and AoE resistance, plus both passive and active wide guard. Her survivability is very good. Either Great Knight and Dual Gunner sub are fine. Great Knight gives her silence threat against Gilgamesh, Exia, and Sidali. Dual Gunner gives her longer range and a plus 30 hit rate attack. One piece of equipment I want to point out is Locke's TMR on Lucielle. Since both evade units have move 4, it is really easy for Lucielle to cast the luck buff on turn 2, given her LB is turned off. This setup works on most maps, where the 2 units on the side can reach the middle unit on turn 1. The thinking behind this team is to get the evade units hasted as soon as possible. Then start chaining and possibly land 1 or 2 status effects. Lucielle also gives them regen and will be able to heal her teammates should they take damage. There are just way too many accurate teams out there, but often they will need to sacrifice agility for accuracy. That's where the haste and status effects come in. This is the best evade team we have currently, and pretty much the only setup that plays to Vinera's strengths. Top tier evasion with all kinds of survival mechanics to back them up. Next we have the mixed dagger and spear team with FF5 Gilgamesh and Ramada. I am still building Gilgamesh, so I haven't tested this team. I don't think this team is meta, but should do okay. Vinera is on dual gunner sub for the evasion buff. With her resistances, wide guard and re-raise, she should be able to take a few hits. I will update you guys in my Gilgamesh video. Next are a couple more teams. The team at the top is the Hourne team with Rikku and Dario. Dario is finally able to use his magical power to protect his wife. Love to see it. This team has the exact same setup as the Dagger and Ninja team, only Dario is here instead of Lucielle. The last team is the Mono Lightning team with Halloween Owlaya and Ramada. I finally got Owlaya to 140 and got to play around with her. Her damage is quite impressive, and her lightning resistance in peril is really handy. This team is good in limited cost content. Like I said earlier, the Rikku and Lucielle setup really is the only team that Vinera and Rikku can truly shine. Now let's look at the VCs for the group. With the addition of Vinera's card and Winter Perrene's card, the evade potential for this group is at full power. There are a few notable crossovers. This group works really well with Spear. If you are looking to team up the evade girls with Winter Perrene, they could work to a certain extent. Perrene could be somewhat evasive, but she is more of an accurate unit. She is quite vulnerable against physical AoE attacks without any AoE resistance or wide guard VCs. Now my final thoughts on Vinera Hourne. She is the perfect unit to team up with Rikku. When both units are at max reincarnations, they can cause major chaos alongside Lucielle. However, no matter how evasive you build them, they will get hit. Units like Yuna, Ashen King, and Shureeca can all hit them quite reliably if they are built for full accuracy. Ashen King is especially scary for Vinera. He has innate stun resistance and can reach above 500% hit rate without any active buffs. A mono ice team with Gilgamesh and Agrias have the bulk to stall out the null sure hit effects, then take them down. Also, upgraded Thancred and Barts are highly accurate, and they are both free units. Even though this next-gen evasion team is superb with all the necessary resistances from VCs. Haste plus status effects are the main driving force to the evasion team's success. Be sure to give them 97 faith. With FF5 coming back and the new Hero King unit, I don't recommend spending any resources to get Vinera. Like I said in Rikku's video, evade units typically have their toughest time during their initial releases. All players are gearing up to take them down. If you decide to pull for her, I recommend to slowly reincarnate her. She will have a lot more success in a few months when accuracy is not on everyone's mind. And again, her VC and Rikku's VC are must-have for them. Now let's go to some sample matches. The first match of the day is Vinera and Rikku against Mono Ice. It is a good idea to have Lucielle give Rikku re-raise if you don't need the haste on turn 1, and the map allows it, but I turned it off here. Vinera's first action, her group buff. Notice the AI stop short and allow Rikku move horizontally on turn 1. Grants the group all wide guard 25 for 4 turns. For herself, re-raise, dispel haste on hit for 4 turns, and increase her chance to land stun by 15 when she has re-raise or active wide guard online. Now our haste is online, we are ready to chain down the enemy. Second action, self buff. Grants Vinera HP auto heal back when her health drops below 50%, once per battle. Increase her evasion rate 20 against unit attacks for 4 turns. Nullify sure hit for 4 turns. Plus an additional reaction ability to increase her physical damage output by 20% for 1 turn after evading an attack. Third action, new Jaden's TMR. AP auto restore large for 4 turns and dispel enemies' HP absorb on hit. This is her cross-shaped AoE attack. Before damage lower target's defense and AoE resistance by 60% for 3 turns. Then deals 2 hit large damage, lower their CT small, and has 25% chance to stun the enemies. Post damage lower target's type chain resistance by 50 for 2 turns. With Agria's Berserk, Rikku is saved from her sure hit LB. This is Vinera's main job, preemptive reaction, plus additional reaction from her self buff. Now she is using her main sub-attack. Before damage increase her damage cap by 4000, then deals large critical damage. This is her X-shaped AoE attack. Breaks physical barriers, deals large damage, and 25% chance to inflict 1 turn stun. Now she is using her LB. Before damage dispel protect from targets, and lower their crit damage resistance 20 for 3 turns. Then deals 3 hit extra large damage. The null sure hit effects have faded for both my units. Gilgamesh is now going for his LB. This is why Lucielle is here, she can heal them up. Fights can go longer when going up against units with high amount of HP like Agrias and Gilgamesh. That's why the 140 upgrades that give her job 12 attack 1 more use is really good. The second match of the day is against one of the more popular evade counter team with Sephiroth, Shureeca, and Resnick. Just like building for evasion, you cannot go half-ass on accuracy. This is a good example. This accuracy buff is what makes Resnick extra valuable against evasion teams, on top of her healing and reviving abilities. I have one more match that shows how Locke's TMR work for this setup on a different map. I will be doing a Thancred showcase next. Since a lot of you have asked, I will try to include Light Veritas if I have time. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Happy holidays. With movement of 4, Rikku landed at a position where Lucielle's TMR luck buff can reach both evade units. This unit placement will work on most of the maps when Unit 1 and 3 can reach Unit 2 on turn 1. This is the added match against Hero King Mont. I mainly wanted to show how spike damage affects evasion, if at all. The enemy team is not built for accuracy, and it is not a true representation of how accurate this great sword team can be. Again, evade teams will be a lot more effective in a few months when people stop gearing for accuracy. Now is possibly the worst time to run evasion. That's really all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.
アードラの未来、僕たちは皆で掴み取るぞ。きついのいくよ。私を助けて、私に任せてちょうだいな。祝福の力を。宿願を果たすために。僕の全てを助けるんだ。 祝福の力を一撃必殺痛いきついのいくよいきます僕たちは必ず勝つそろそろ死ぬ気です僕に続け行くぞ返さねばならん頑張って助けるというのか 俺はしない祝願を果たすために俺はしない俺はしないこれが俺はしない行きます